Well, good morning, colleagues. First of all, I take the opportunity to welcome you all on this live workshop on bariatric surgery. At the outset, I congratulate the team PIMACON and especially Dr. Navjot Dhaiya for organizing such a elite academic feast conference. Friends, we are almost at the fag end of bad corona times, and this is probably the first virtual come real conference being organized. We all medicos, be it be physicians, surgeons, orthopedicians, gynecologists, and super specialists, have come on a common platform today to discuss some of the common and some unanswered questions. So I take opportunity from Jammu Hospital team to welcome you all. Today we'll be giving three presentations, two by myself and one by my anesthetist. And we have one live surgery on bariatric surgery, that is meningastric bypass, at about 2:30 p.m. today. Tomorrow there will be again a real-time lecture by myself in the main conference, and that is the science and art of bariatric surgery. So coming to my first presentation, which is trends and innovations in bariatric surgery. I have tried to touch the brief of what is being done today and what are the results of all these surgeries. So not taking much of your time, I'll come straight to my presentation, which is trends and innovations in bariatric surgery. So friends, I don't have any disclosures to make. Uh, we are the first and the only center in Jalandhar to be recognized by Obesity Surgery Society of India as the center of excellence. Jammu Hospital is into bariatric surgery since year 2007. So many procedures have evolved, and we are doing quite a volume of procedures. So to refreshen up our knowledge, what is weight loss surgery? We all know that, friends. This is a combination of obesity as well as metabolic problems, that is bariatric and metabolic surgery, which is known as weight loss surgery. By bariatric I mean the weight problem. By metabolic I mean diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, snoring, sleep apnea, etc. So the principle of any bariatric surgery per se, may it be the about 10 or 20 procedures are being performed across the globe, the principle remains the same, that we create a state of calorie deficit for obese or morbidly obese patients. What are the indications? BMI of 30 plus is the indication. And if you have some uncontrolled comorbidities like diabetes, type 2, dyslipidemia, hypertension, snoring, sleep apnea, and joint pains, polycystic ovarian disease, then 27.5 BMI is also the qualifying criteria. Well, this surgery is not a cosmetic surgery, it's a life saving surgery which is endorsed globally as well as in India by major medical organizations of the world. To name a few, if so, which is International Federation for Obesity Surgery, SAGES, an American body, OSI, Obesity Surgery Society of India, ASMBS, again an American body, and so many other organizations. So this is a very much valid surgery, and today it is also recognized in India by and is being done free for ECHS, CGHS, and some other organizations. Even private TPS have come forward to help their patients to get rid of morbid obesity totally free of cost. So friends, coming to the history of bariatric surgery, well, it is not a new surgery. It dates back to about 1950s, that is about, I say, more than 70 years from now, when bariatric surgery had started in countries like USA, which is the most obese nations in the world, one of the most obese nations in the world. And the procedures that started were intestinal bypass. So as you can see in this picture, virtually whole of the intestine, small intestine, leaving some duodenum or some proximal jejunum, all the intestine is bypassed. So the proximal jejunum is anastomosed to the almost terminal ileum. We are bypassing about 7 or 8 meters of small intestine. These were the first bariatric surgeries being were performed. And similarly, jejunocolic, the proximal jejunum is anastomosed directly to the colon. So whole of the small intestine is bypassed. As we know by our knowledge that we are bypassing almost all the absorptive surface of the intestine, naturally it was leading to so many nutritional deficiencies, may it be macro like proteins, fats, carbohydrates, or micro, minerals, iron, vitamins, etc. So these procedures did not last very long, although few patients got very good results who were super obese. By super obese, I mean the weights were more than 150, 170 or 200 kilo plus. They really benefited. But the patients who were mediocre overweight, they suffered heavy nutritional deficiencies. So these procedures have today become almost obsolete. Then came the era of biliopancreatic diversion. As the name indicates, the bile and pancreatic secretions are diverted along with adding some element of restriction. You can see the stomach is divided almost into the half transversely. So biliopancreatic diversion, a long bypass along with some restrictive element. This procedure was much better than jejunal or ileojegunocolic because now we are giving little less dose of malabsorption along with some dose of restriction. So this procedure is being done today only. But again, since this is a massive malabsorptive procedure, although less than a jejunal-ileojegunocolic, but still it produces massive protein deficiencies. And this procedure is not very good procedure for Indian population or vegetarian eating population, although this is being routinely done in countries like US and Europe because people are mostly meat or protein eaters. But just I wanted to touch the name how the evolution has started from pure malabsorption to combination of malabsorption and restriction. Then came the era of gold standard procedure, which is even today gold standard, called gastric bypass or popularly known as Roux-en-Y gastric bypass. Roux-en-Y gastric bypass came into existence because biliopancreatic diversion was still a very strong malabsorptive procedure. It was a very strong cause of malabsorption. And as you can see in this gastric bypass, we are doing two things. We are making a restriction. We are making very small stomach. Almost 1/4 of the stomach is made from the total alimentary canal stomach. And we are bypassing duodenum and plus jejunum. So almost a very limited bypass. So the concept is changing from pure malabsorption to more restriction and less of malabsorption. So this procedure is known as Roux-en-Y gastric bypass procedure. Then the scientists or the researchers thought, why not do only restriction rather than adding malabsorption? So we don't want to create any nutritional deficiencies. So the thing is, patient should eat less and still feed very good. He should not feel hungry again. So that means satiety is induced very fast. So what is the concept? The concept is a elastic band is wrapped around this balloon of stomach and tightened. The tightening effect will make two stomachs, one smaller, the proximal, which is now a part of digestive or the alimentary system, and one the large, which is now not a part of alimentary system. When you start eating food from this way, the stomach would get full and brain will receive signals, yes, that I'm full, so stop feeding me, and the person would stop eating. So this is gastric band. This procedure was almost done for a decade and is still being done in countries like Australia. But again, this procedure had its own limitations. Not going into much detail what are the limitations, but to name a few, people started cheating because they would get this band loosened by taking this water in it, which was instilled to make it tight, and they would start eating. This would get loose and they would start eating more. So the results were not achieved, the targeted results were not achieved. but still this procedure is done for patients who are unfit for any other kind of bariatric procedure, may it be restrictive or malabsorptive, because this is a least invasive procedure. This is called lap band or gastric band procedure. Then came something again pure and restrictive surgery called laparoscopic sleeve gastrectomy. As the name is indicating, we are taking a sleeve of stomach or gastric out. That is a sleeve along the greater curvature of the stomach. Almost 2/3 is taken out by stapling, and now this 1/3 of the stomach is left. That means whatever food you were taking initially is almost reduced to 1/3. So this is called gastric sleeve operation. There's a small animated video. I'll show you how we do this sleeve. You can see in this animation, there's small cuts about 1 centimeter, about 4 to 5 are given on the abdominal area, through which laparoscopic trocars and cannulas are inserted. This is a very short procedure. Doesn't take more than 30 to 40 minutes to perform. You can see in this picture, this is all our alimentary canal. So before the surgery, this is the blue colored food what patient is eating, and almost the stomach has to go full before the patient stops eating. So we have to eat this much, otherwise there will always be feeling of something hungry, and you will not there is no satiety and you will keep on eating. In sleeve surgery, we have stapled this and we taken greater curvature out. So whatever stomach is left is almost 1/3, as you can see in this picture. That means the amount of the volume is reduced to 1/3. The amount of food that you are going to eat is also reduced to 1/3. So there's always an early feeling of satiety, and once one will stop eating. So this is the concept of gastric sleeve resection. Very popular and a very simple procedure done across the world. This procedure is a good procedure, undoubtedly, but again, it has its own limitations. So, since I'm touching the broader concepts, what is being performed, I will not go discuss the limitations or the plus points of the procedure, but this is being done today. Then, then we have another procedure which is called mini gastric bypass. This is a second most commonest procedure being performed now in India after sleeve surgery, and this procedure has also surpassed the standard Roux-en-Y gastric bypass procedure. And I'm very strong proponent of this procedure, and we in Jammu Hospital have performed about more than 4,000 plus mini gastric bypass surgeries in our setup since 2007. What is the concept of mini gastric bypass surgery? Uh, the beauty of this surgery is that this is a reversible surgery. There's only one gastrojejunostomy, anastomosis, and this is a reversible surgery. So the uh, anatomical changes is that we make a very tubular small stomach, and we do a tailor-made bypass depending upon the BMI of the patient. So if the patient is super obese, you can do 200 plus bypass, 200 centimeters, 250 centimeters. If patient is about not super obese or only obese or morbidly obese, you can do a tailor-made bypass depending upon that dose of malabsorption you want to give to that patient. Again, there's a small video how we do this. So again, this is an animated video. Here you'll get the chance to see before and after the anatomical changes. So you can see the stomach is divided with staple and nothing is removed. Unlike sleeve surgery, we take the stomach out and one single anastomosis, depending upon the how much you below pancreatic bypass you want to give. So this is the food after the surgery. It is bypassing the residual stomach, is bypassing the duodenum, and is bypassing the proximal jejunum. So if you see before and after the surgery results, you can see the stomach is going to the whole of the stomach. food is going to the whole of the stomach, duodenum, jejunum. Here it is tubular stomach, you are eating less and you are bypassing duodenum, that is major absorptive area of the small intestine. So now we have another innovative procedure which is called gastric balloon. It is also gaining popularity. The fundamentals of this procedure is that you can see this blue thing, the balloon, which is put installed inside the stomach with the help of an endoscope, non-invasive procedure, daycare procedure. And this balloon is a size of almost 500 to 700 ml. So this is the volume which will it occupy. So when it is installed inside, the stomach is always full with this balloon, and or you can say their stomach is always half full. So you start eating food which is about half what you were eating initially. You get full very soon, the satiety reaches very soon, and you stop eating. How it is done? This is a small video to show you that. You can see in this picture, with the help of the endoscope, a balloon is inserted and inflated either with air or with water, depending upon the composition it is made up of. Then this is the food. The food will get deposited, and the thing is, it is a volume occupying. So the volume is there already, so you will eat less to fill your stomach. How to take it out? You just have to deflate out and remove it endoscopically. The limitation of this procedure is that it is again a temporary procedure. You can keep the balloon forever. So maximum 8 to 12 months the balloon is kept. Then we have another restrictive cum malabsorptive uh, procedure, which is again endoscopically done. This is endo barrier liner. So it will line the stomach as well as the duodenum as well as the proximal jejunum. It is made up of some impermeable membrane which is introduced endoscopically into the stomach, and then it will fit against the walls of the duodenum. You can see in this animation, with the help of the endoscope, we do the routine endoscopy. Then with the guide wire, this endoliner barrier is introduced, and depending upon its size, it is left there. Then it is inflated, the whitish thing you can see. So this is the yellow colored then food. So once it is lined against the absorptive mucosa, the food will go unabsorptive through that part. So the removal is also done endoscopically. Again, the limitation is that it is not a permanent solution. You have to take it out. It has its own shelf life. The beauty of this procedure is you can eat anything and everything and it will be bypassed. It will not be absorbed into the duodenum. So this is the beauty of this procedure. Then we have procedure called gastric imbrication. So gastric imbrication, again, this is done laparoscopically without taking anything out. So it is also like a sleeve surgery, but the stomach is not removed from the body. The results are comparable to the sleeve surgery, but slightly less. And the drawback is that the chances of weight regain are there. So as you can see, the seromuscular bites are taken to reduce the volume of the stomach on the greater curvature side. The full thickness bites are taken, and you can see in that cross section how the lumen is being reduced, how the volume of the stomach is being reduced. So this is called laparoscopic gastric imbrication. We have almost reduced the size of half the stomach. So naturally the amount of food which is eaten is almost now half. Then we have a procedure called Apollo overstitch. Again, a very upcoming procedure and a non-invasive, done endoscopically. So we in Jammu Hospital have also started doing this procedure. This procedure is done endoscopically. The fundamental of this procedure is that you reduce the size of the volume of the stomach endoscopically by taking thick mucosal bites. So with the help of organ plasma, you mark the area where you want to pass the stitches, starting from the incisura and going upwards to the fundus. You take the bites and start it. Almost it's like a suturing, but done endoscopically. You can see how we are reducing the size of the stomach. So these are mucosal bites, but thick mucosal bites. The size of the stomach is reduced considerably. Again, this is a daycare procedure. Patient has to be in the hospital just for a few hours and then can go home and start the liquid diet same day. So this is comparable to a sleeve surgery. Then we have another procedure called aspiration. So aspiration bariatrics is the name of the procedure in which the gastric contents are aspirated out after eating. Yes. So you can see this is the food going inside the stomach, and in the stomach we have an attached tube, so which is connected to a device which is attached to the abdominal wall. So after eating about 1 hour or so, if you want to aspirate the contents before they have gone for the absorption into the small intestine, this is a aspiration device which is attached, which is removable. You can aspirate out the contents of the stomach eaten. So that means you can eat anything and everything, and you can taste everything, and if you want that absorption doesn't occur, you can aspirate out the contents. So this tube is pre-fitted inside the stomach, taken out through the abdominal wall, attached, and you can go to a separate room and take the, this is like a vomiting, not through the mouth, through the stomach. So there's aspiration of the food contents. This is called aspiration bariatrics. So this is done for patients who cannot, who are binge eaters, who cannot stop eating, who have a taste for everything. So they say they want to taste everything, but still they don't want absorption to occur. This is a good procedure for those people. So colleagues, there could be confusion which procedure to undergo. So leave it to your surgeon. They will decide. They will know your history, what is best suitable for you. Leave it to them and trust them. So the ideal procedure I would define as the procedure which is more safe, which is effective, which is technically easy, acceptable, and reproducible, and less challenging. For if you want to see what is that procedure in India, so these are three commonest procedures being done, and this is the data of 2016 and 2017. So you can clearly see that sleeve surgery is a number one procedure because this is technically easy, and mini gastric bypass comes at number two, and Roux-en-Y is going to number three. Again, mini gastric bypass, why it's picking up, because unlike sleeve and Roux-en-Y surgery, the incidence of weight regain is less, And in sleep surgery, the chances of leak rate are about 1 to 2%, which are almost zero in mini gastric bypass surgery. That is why we recommend mini gastric bypass surgery, because weight loss is more, mortality is least, weight regain is minimum, resolution of comorbidities like hypertension, diabetes, and dyslipidemia is much more as compared to sleeve and Roux-en-Y surgery. Thank you, friends, for the patient hearing. And we have a 5-minute break, and after that, Dr. Mangat will come with his presentation on bariatric anesthesia. Thank you so much.